You are listening to an exclusive on PodHub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base. McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win.
That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Tyler. We have Jim. This is the North Shore 9. What's up, everyone?
Just glad the season's over.
I'm just glad you guys aren't muted.
Oh, thank God.
We don't
know that yet.
We don't know that yet.
According to my sources, you aren't muted. So I guess we'll wait to see if we get any feedback telling me that we can't hear you. But so far, so good.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, we're only 25 minutes late.
I mean, are you late if you never announced that you're going to be on tonight at 9?
Sounds like poor promotion from our Twitter account.
It sounds like smart planning. We don't have Ethan on here saying 8 minutes late, guys.
Well, I'm sure Bucko Mike will be here in a minute.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, big show tonight. We're going to give away a Pirates jersey.
Huge.
Big show. 61 wins means who all's up for this? Other than you and Tyler, because you and Tyler don't count.
As the banner just clearly says right now, Tyler and DiNardo correctly predict the win total. Negative Jim does not. I mean, this is our time to gloat, Tyler. We were told how optimistic we were. You guys are idiots. 54 wins or bust, says Jim. And, I mean, Tyler, already the smartest Pirates fan in the world, joins North Shore 9. He correctly predicts 61 wins. I correctly predict 61 wins. I mean, we know who's the dum-dum on this show.
It's obvious. I mean, what can we say? We were doubted. Someone tried to hold us down. So we were just way too optimistic. Way too much hope in this team. And we battled through it. To 61 wins. Some people would call us heroes.
Jim, you're mighty quiet tonight.
There's literally not a single person who calls you that.
They should.
It is funny though, because Tyler gets the rap for being the negative one, and yeah, his optimism paid off this time. So congratulations to you two. We'll see how I do on over-unders though. How about that?
Yeah, we don't need to go through that.
We do.
Have you looked at that, Jim, already?
I haven't looked at it, but I have a feeling I at least beat both of you.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling you looked at it already, so that's why you were gloating. I was like, we can pass on that. I don't know. I still feel confident.
I think I beat you both.
I guess we'll find out. But before we find out about that, regardless, I think it's time we do this giveaway. So as we mentioned at the beginning of the year, I mean, every single year we do the NS9 Wins Challenge, where at the beginning of the year, you go ahead and submit your prediction of how many wins the Pirates will get this season. I want to say the majority, for sure, picked over 61. There was quite a few. It seemed like 61 was near the bottom, and then it thinned out till you got to 54 where Jim was at. There was only 2 people that voted for less than Jim. Just 2 people in the entire world that voted for less picks or less wins. So that's just how terrible you are, Jim. But you and Bucko Mike both picked 54. So you're in the same stratosphere as Bucko Mike right now. Just a terrible, terrible human being.
He is the voice on the Pirates, though.
He is. And he's the 8-time most hated on Pirates Twitter. So
yeah.
After your Alfred takes this year, I think you're in the running with Bucko Mike now.
I've got to be up there after this year. Yeah.
Negative Jim.
As he should be.
As we stated, so we announced that whoever gets the correct prediction will be in the drawing for a Pirates jersey. And obviously, like we're just gonna get it now. I didn't get a size, like I didn't pre-do this because if I got a small, you need a triple XL. It's not gonna work out too well, or vice versa. So you let us know your size. I'll get it out to you.
Saying that whoever's gonna win is fat?
No. I mean,
that's kind of what you were saying.
I said if you needed a small and you got a triple XL, that wouldn't work out.
I don't think you said it that way. I think you called someone fat.
Whatever, Tyler. You're like 3'7". Just chill. Getting you a small would be an extra large for most people.
Soft.
All right. So I guess I should get the wheel up here. So here are the 5 people that
put up the wheel.
Correctly predicted the 61 wins. So we have the wheel. It's 5 people, so it's not perfectly colored. It looks kind of weird, but let's do it. So I guess Tyler, Jim, give me a countdown.
10.
This is so bad. I'm just going to spin the wheel.
Spin it.
All right. Let's see who wins, guys. Oh, wait.
I was trying to figure out what number to start at.
Oh, God. I mean, like, I'm not upset this won. It's just, of course, Dan won. Chillin wins the Pirates jersey. He was, I think, one of our first guests on Jeopardy, NS9 Jeopardy, a few off seasons ago, and he won that show. I think he was our very first NS9 winner. And now he returns and he gets this correctly, and then he wins the jersey. So congratulations, Dan. You win the Pirates jersey. I'll be in the DMs once again to find out what you're going to get for a prize, what size you need. So congrats.
Congrats.
Who does he get a jersey of?
I guess whatever he wants.
I'm just curious.
He gets it. He gets the Adam Frazier Pirates jersey.
I know we were going to Dick's Sporting Goods, taking off the clearance rack.
Todd Frazier.
The Todd Frazier, right? We'll get him. We'll try to find a Lonnie Chisenhall for him as well.
Yeah,
might be a 2-for-1 going. No. Oh, yeah, that's right. He also, congratulations, he won the NS9 Fantasy League this year. That's right. I knew there was something else. He got the trifecta in like a 12-month span.
I didn't even know there was an NS9 Fantasy League.
Neither did I.
You guys are awful. You guys are just awful.
How are we awful when we didn't know?
Because you should have known. Because we talked about it. Tyler, I wanted you on the draft show that we were going to have, but we ended up not doing it.
Never invited. Yeah, to the Fantasy League.
BS. I will find those receipts. You couldn't make it, Tyler.
Yeah.
I think you're lying.
Whatever. Well, once again,
definitely never. It was never brought up.
No, never.
I have the worst. Where's Ryan? I mean, the first time in my life, I want Ryan back.
Because you're lying.
This is awful.
But he wouldn't call you out on your lies.
Ryan would never call me out on my lies.
We are.
All right. So there's that. Dan, hit us up. Congratulations on winning everything this year. I want to share the wealth a little bit, but we'll move forward. So I guess let's gloat again, Tyler. We also predicted 61 wins, and Jim did not. But yes, with that said, the Pirates lose 101 this year, 61 and 101. Let's talk a little bit about the season, I guess. I mean, how it ended. We got an Oneil Cruz call up. That was kind of exciting. I know we were all let down. Stupid Mike Persak telling us that, we can't make the meeting. He's not going to make the meeting, guys. I don't know what this means, but he might get called up. And turns out he didn't get called up on Friday. But then it was a moot point because on Saturday he gets called up. We see 2 games of Oneil Cruz.
We should have had 3.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, what was the point of having 1 less game?
Yeah, I don't know why they waited until Saturday. Like, we were all clamoring for it. Well, it was NS9 Live last week. We We were like, this has to happen tomorrow. And it didn't happen. I was super bummed out. I think what ended up happening though is we bullied the Pirates Twitter account so much that Ben Cherington just had to do it.
We're just an unstoppable force. You just don't mess with NS9.
Yeah. What? It was a lot of people.
they didn't want negative Jim all up in their DMs.
I mean, they had to give us something to do for the last series. Or was anybody going to watch it?
I mean, for Pirates fans appreciation weekend, they sat Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, they sat Brian Reynolds the last day of the year. I don't know what the hell that was about.
What
I guess
was
to keep
that about?
The 300. I guess to keep his 300 batting average.
But that's the thing. Like he could have. I said 2 just because I threw 2. Like just out the dark. I was like, I mean, give him 2 at bats, and if he goes over 2, just sit him. But we had actually Vinny like sent the math to me, and he said he could have went 0 for 6 and still been over 300. So like with that said, what was the point? If you were so worried about the 300, which I can understand, there is that little mystique of being a 300 hitter opposed to a 299. But if you could have went 0 for 6 and still accomplished that, then what was the point of sitting the very last game?
Fan Appreciation Day. Yeah.
He had to rest for
center,
April 1st.
Who did we get in center field instead?
Was it Gamble?
It was probably Gamble or Alford.
I don't know. That was Sunday, and that's football day. So no, I did not get to watch Cruz's home run live.
Yeah, I didn't watch Sunday.
Wow, what terrible, terrible, terrible people.
Well, I was in Denver.
I watched.
Yeah. He was in Denver, DiNardo.
You didn't get shot in Denver, did you?
Did not.
Shout out to Pittsburgh Clothing Company.
Yeah, did you see how high Oneil Cruz hit that ball?
It was pretty high. It was very, very high.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of high, Jim, how was Denver?
A lot of it's very high altitude. It's the mile high city. No, it was fun.
Who goes? I mean, like seriously, who goes to a whole nother city to watch a whole nother football team? Because oh my god, these guys played quarterback at the college I went to, so I get to go see Teddy and Lamar play football. Oh my god, what a loser! I mean, who does that? I mean, guys, I could go to Denver this weekend to watch Lamar.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great time.
It was a very high stakes game.
You just sound jealous, to be honest. You just sound jealous that your team doesn't have 2 quarterbacks in the NFL playing each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. My NFL team doesn't have a quarterback, period. I'll put it that way. So
yeah, mine doesn't.
Who goes to Denver?
Mine doesn't
to watch Teddy Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it was fun.
You could have just
it was a great week. Yeah, I could have not, but then I also could have gone. So whatever.
All in all, though, Jim, yeah, how was it? I've yet to been to Denver. I hear that's a great place to be.
Oh, it's a great city. Great city.
You remember it?
No, it's a super fun city. Especially like the area right around Coors Field. Like lots of bars, and if you're into like craft beer, there's just breweries everywhere. It's a fun city. I recommend going if you haven't gone.
How was the food?
Food was fine. It wasn't like anything special.
Is it better late at night or in the day?
It was about the same.
So just it tastes the same no matter what. Just all day long. Yeah. Just munching away.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on what you're eating. But yeah, the food was fine. Nothing amazing though.
It's tough to eat food like that with a dry mouth.
Yeah. Jim's seething once again. He's like, I absolutely hate you guys. All right. So let's get back on track here. The Pirates. Oneil Cruz. So yes, for some reason, he doesn't play a whole 3-game series. He comes 2 for 3. Comes up Saturday. I I mean, I guess what do you overall take from the debut? I felt like, we'll all talk about it, but I felt like just in 2 games, I think we all saw something. Overall, it was a good debut.
I mean, his first game, he instantly became. He hit the hardest ball in the Statcast era by a Pirate. Like what kind of craziness is that? His second hit was the hardest ball hit by a Pirate in the last 6 years.
Yes, that is true, and I missed this comment, so I got to say it. But this comes from Bucko Mike, and he says Cruz hit that about as high as Rosati's beard. Nice one, Bucko Mike.
No, but yeah, very impressive debut. I mean, he singled in his first at bat, I believe, and then the second hit was the laser beam. But he definitely, you could tell he was super excited because he was like chasing everything in the dirt. But if a pitcher made a mistake, he made him pay. Even the ball he hit out of the ballpark on Sunday, that ball might have bounced. If he doesn't hit that ball's in the dirt, and he sent it onto the concourse in right center field.
You just not get cheated.
That
it was impressive.
Was so impressive.
That line drive. I don't think we need a Statcast to know that was the hardest ball hit by a Pirate. I was staring at my phone. I heard it. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Just ridiculous. It just again shows like what he can do. This is why he's a top prospect.
Like I tweeted, a lot of people are probably going to get really, really, really excited over this 2-game debut. He's going to be a very frustrating player, especially when he comes up. He's going to swing and miss a lot. People are going to absolutely hate that, and he's going to make errors. We're going to absolutely hate that, and he's going to hit the ball really far. He's going to strike out 200 times, and he might hit 30 homers.
Who else did that?
Marte.
I was gonna say Polanco, but
I was thinking,
I'm thinking Marte would always every game. I feel like he would take a swing, and you'd be just like, "What are you doing?" I could see
that. I agree with
every now and then. Yeah,
I guess I was relating more to the power part of it too.
Yeah,
but
I think Marte had a little better contact skill
for sure. Which is why when he also made those swings and also connected at times. And we were like, I don't know how.
Jim's right though, where it's going to be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. I like the debut, but like in the sense, that's why I felt like in those just 2 games, we saw something, and you literally saw what Oneil Cruz is just in those 2 games, what he presents, why he's that high risk, high reward type of guy, because you saw the power. You saw literally the hardest hit ball ever in the Statcast era by the Pirates. You saw that amazing home run that he just dipped down. And the fact is too, like that was low to be like, regardless, that was low. Factor in the fact he's also 6'7". That's much lower than anyone else. I mean, he really had to go down for that. And then he drove it out the ballpark. So you saw that, but then you saw the swing and miss stuff. And I mean, it's not to say he has improved on that. You talked about that on Starbucks this week, Jim. How, I mean, the strikeout rate is really, really improved, and it's where you want it to be right now in the minors. But that's still there, and he was just swinging at everything away.
Yeah, I think that had to do more with the excitement. I think the more he's in the majors, the more he gets comfortable, you may see that completely change. But I mean, anytime you're going to have somebody who's capable of putting up 30 plus home runs in a year, which he certainly is capable of doing that, you're going to have some swings and misses. It's going to come with the territory.
There's not another guy in the system that hits baseball like he does. So you got to cling to that.
Yeah. It's going to be.
I mean,
we got to.
Do we want to put in there Mason Martin? Like,
no. I don't think. I think the difference with Cruz is it's just so effortless. You know, we saw the highlights all the way through, Altoona this year, and he was just like flick of the wrist, gone. And like that's literally what happened on Sunday. Like that swing, it's not like he was like trying to kill that ball. He literally just put the bat on the ball and it just jumped out of the ballpark. So it was exciting. He's an exciting player. It's going to be fun. Spring training next year, I'm sure they'll have, it'll be an open competition for shortstop. He won't make the team and he'll be up in 2 weeks. Right. But, yeah, I fully expect that. As long as he stays healthy this offseason, he's your starting shortstop come like April 20th.
I think that's where it's interesting to see.
Will you be in Denver on that game on that day too, Jim?
I don't know.
Just odd you picked out April 20th of all days, for Cruz to come up.
It's my sister's birthday. So I picked that day. Yeah.
Celebrating?
With an Oneil Cruz call-up. Yeah.
It's interesting, though, to see if they plan to Super 2 at all under this regime.
That's what we'll find out.
At that point. God only knows if it's going to be a thing, but
yeah. Who knows what it's even going to be like next year. Well, that'll be a fun part about this offseason, I guess, is we'll see, quote unquote fun, I guess. We'll get to see all that play out.
Right.
They don't do the Super 2 crap again.
Well, that's what's
it's pain to wait until late June to see your top prospect. Just save a couple million.
Obviously, it makes sense. If you look,
it does, but it's
that's
annoying.
the rules. They can do it. It all makes sense. But yes, you are correct. I feel like this is the biggest offseason and year of this regime to really find out what they are in that term. It's not the biggest year for them, but it's the biggest one to find out what they really are. It's easy at the first year to say, we need to rebuild. And then they just go ahead and trade off pieces, So we're going to find out a lot of answers of what this regime is. Like, are they going to add in the offseason to try to build upon this team? What are they going to add? How are they going to do it? Are they going to fire the pitching coach and get a new one? But no, and even this, like, how are they going to play? Because this is going to be the first year that there's like true call-ups. And like, once again, for the people that are on the side saying, "Oh, look at this regime! Look what they're doing! They're calling these people." It was 1 game for Ronesy. It was 2 games for Oneil. Like, that really doesn't tell me much.
It doesn't, but it also is completely different than what we've seen. That would have never happened under him.
Is it though? Like,
that would have not happened under him.
We've seen people come up early for short stints like that in the past.
Who?
For the main prospects, it's just always worked out that, it didn't really always work out, but they wait till June, right? But there have been some people who have been called up before June. It's not like it's never happened before.
Circumstances are just, again, this year just weird in that sense. And again, it was just 1 game and 2 games for another person. I'm not going rah over that. I'm not saying it, like just dismiss it altogether. But to the fact, I guess we can say also circumstances led to it. It wasn't like it was their first choice, but Reynolds and Tucker were up where you weren't expecting it. Reynolds forced them to stay. So
not top prospects.
Reynolds and Tucker at the time, I would say absolutely were. Within the regime,
they were both
top 10.
They were both.
They're not Oneil Cruz.
Well, who are you calling up over like Reynolds? What? So it should have been Will Craig. Like, you say not top prospect, but
yeah, they weren't. It wasn't an Oneil Cruz getting called up.
I'm sorry. It's just the 6'4" outfielder right now that got called up instead.
He wasn't that in the minors. He was a 4th outfield prospect.
You didn't know he was that. Neil Huntington knew all along.
No. The only one I could actually think of was Austin Meadows.
That's a fair one. I was actually going to say Josh Bell was called up early too and sent back down. Wasn't his like for a weekend and then he didn't even really play and then he got sent back down?
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah. So you could technically say Josh Bell as well. There was a few games where you got called up where you wouldn't expect it. Of course, got sent back down to play the numbers game and then got called up later.
Yeah, but Contreras and Cruz are basically coming from Double A.
That's fair.
That is one thing we didn't see in the past is people just skipping AAA. We didn't really see that happen.
So you bringing that up, let's talk about that because that might be a fair point to bring up. I forget who said it as far as the guests we had on this year, but someone mentioned it, and I think that's something we can relate to. It does almost seem as if with this regime, Double A's the league, you know. Triple A is more or less just guys, you know. I mean, I think Charrington more or less said it. If we're putting you in Triple A, if it's because we think you're ready for the big leagues at that point in time. It's not like it's the next step, and then we're going to see if you're ready. So that might be a fundamental difference that we are seeing between the two regimes.
Hope so.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at what Toronto did, their top prospects, right? Vlad didn't have much time in AAA. I think he was there for 3 or 4 weeks. Bichette, same thing. He was maybe there for 2 months. So like their main prospects didn't spend much time in AAA. Now, are our prospects as high as those? I don't know. But I mean, at least those two examples that I can think of right off the top of my head, when Charrington was in Toronto, it was once they graduated from AA, they basically were ready.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, again, that's one observation I think we can look at already right now and say that seems like a fundamental difference. Going into next year, though, definitely intrigued to find out how they work it. Are they looking at Super 2? Are they going to be up on April 20th for Jim's sister's birthday? That's to be determined. I can fully confidently say I do not expect anyone to be starting on day one.
No. It would be stupid and irresponsible to do that.
And it's sad, but it is. It just doesn't make sense. Sure, it sucks for the players, but it is within the rules. And why, especially for this upcoming year? It's not like you're competing. So what's the point of burning that year just to say, here's 20 more games of Oneil Cruz?
Right. I mean, you can literally get Oneil Cruz for an entire extra year.
The Pirates should be good.
Just by sending him to AAA for 3 weeks. Yeah. So I mean they're going to
season. And then that magical date appears and now he's good.
Yep.
He's ready.
He has to work on his defense. I mean, he's 6'7". He's got to work on his defense. By April 20th, he'll be good. It's fixed. As Bucko Mike says, AAA is a breeding ground for guys like Stephen Brault, Will Crow, and Day Dong. But I mean, that's really how they use it right now. Of course, it's not like as if they had the talent to really promote guys there in the degree, but we did kind of see it. It was almost like that's their taxi squad. Like that's their quad A players.
Yeah. And you do see that a lot. I mean, if you go to AAA baseball games, most of the roster are not like prospects. They're journeymen who are there to fill a gap if they need them, in a pinch. Most of your prospects, once they get to AAA, they aren't there very long.
Unless you're Andrew McCutchen.
Right?
You buy a house in Indianapolis if you're Andrew McCutchen. But yes, so yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Like I said, next year. We talked about Oneil Cruz. We've talked about Contreras already last week, but let's, I guess, just talk about, the ending, the Pirates again. That was their 15th attempt at a sweep, and they failed, which worked out because Danny won a jersey. So Danny's happy about that. Tyler and I correctly predict 61. So we're okay with that. But yeah, I mean, I just can't fathom this team had 15 opportunities to have a sweep this year. And then on top of that, they had 15 opportunities to sweep, and they lost every single one.
Well, not only they had the opportunity to get the sweep, and they sit Brian Reynolds. So it's like...
Right. We appreciate you guys. Here you go, fans. We could have the first sweep of the year. Y'all came out the very last game, and here's our 6-WAR player batting 300. He's on the bench.
I wonder where they rank among teams without completing a sweep in wins.
I don't know. I'd like to see how many times that has happened like in history.
They probably have one of the better seasons for teams that have never completed a sweep. So, winner.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
You got to be pretty bad.
They had 15 chances. I mean,
interesting enough, talking about, the better team, win totals, all that stuff. It is quite interesting. So if you do look, the Pirates ended at 61 and 101, right? Good for a 377 win percentage. Pretty bad. However, I mean, it's not like they're sitting at a 250 win percentage like the Steelers.
Shut the hell up.
I just, if you're looking at the best team in town, it's clearly the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Actually, it's the Pitt Panthers women's volleyball.
That's true. I thought you were going to say Kenny Pickett over here, but no, it's the volleyball team as well.
But no, it is kind of crazy.
Best quarterback in town.
He is.
How bad were the Pirates this year? And then you look around and you see a 52-win Baltimore team and a 52-win Arizona team, and you're like, I couldn't even imagine watching those teams.
That's a good point.
They were 9 games worse than the Pirates. That's so bad.
Yep.
9 games is significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like both sides of that is just really weird. It's so again, with how bad the Pirates were, you look and find that there's teams even worse. But again, like on the same side too, it's also just weird of how bad the Pirates were. And they had Brian Reynolds, and they had, Adam Frazier for a while. Most of the season they had Ryan Hayes in there, who led the league in defense, who led MLB in defensive run saves at third base in his 90-some game. Like, it's just kind of weird how like the talent they had, and yet they were still just so awful.
I mean, they started like 25 pitchers.
But I mean, the offense was so bad. I mean, they were last in baseball in runs scored, and it wasn't even.
And Brian Reynolds. Imagine if they did.
Yeah, it wasn't even really that close. They were the second worst team in baseball in run differential. So, you had the bad hitting, and then you also had bad pitching. Yeah, they just. It was not a good year. Hopefully, that's the last year of the Pirates being just terrible, though.
I mean, it has to. It has to. We won't beat the drum too much on that, but it just has to. I mean, natural progression should take into. We just mentioned how there's going to be players getting the call up. Like, you're going to have the Cruzes, you're going to have the Contrerases coming up next year. So, I mean, you want to hope that those guys are better than the Nagowskis and the Kai Toms, the Alfords, and whatnot. So, but I don't think that. There really wasn't a player in the league worse. The Polancos worse at hitting than him, but yeah. So that naturally, the progression should take in. It should be better at least, but I still want to make sure I see roster construction improvements all around.
And you got Swaggerty.
Trying to think of all the bad players.
You'll have Swaggerty back next year too. I'm actually interested in seeing him because we haven't seen Travis Swaggerty since 2019. I mean,
what's your interest level on him? I mean, I think that's a fair question right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, when it comes to our outfield prospects who are basically right knocking on the door, I'm probably still higher on him than I would be on Cal Mitchell and guys like that. So. Yeah, no, I'm very interested. I mean, if you're 1 to 10, I'm like an 8 on Swaggerty coming back.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
a little worried with the shoulder, but
same.
My interest is lowered a little bit. I think I'm a little more interested in Smith and Jigba right now.
Yes, I agree. My
level. I think Swaggerty should compete for an opening day spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talked about it, on the show, the offseason, into the season and such. I mean, he's one of our over and unders. We talked about games played in the major leagues and such. I was pretty down on Swaggerty to begin with heading into this year, with optimism, of course. But now, as Tyler mentioned, like now with that shoulder injury, I just have such a level of concern with him. And it's not that I'm not interested. I mean, if he's going to play, I'm interested to find out what he is. Like we're all waiting to find out what that player is. He was drafted very highly. He really hasn't produced, and then he kind of did. And then there was no season, and he had the shoulder injury. So I'm interested to find out like what type of player he is. But I guess I'm just at the point where I'm not expecting anything from him. So like whatever he does give is more or less icing on the cake. To Tyler's point,
I mean,
I'm interested in those guys.
He really hasn't played above high A ball.
Right.
I mean, he had 12 games in Indianapolis before he got hurt this year. And he was, more than holding his own. He was showing a little bit of pop, right? And then the injury happened, which was just super unfortunate because I think he was a guy we were all looking forward to seeing this past year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he will be 24. He just turned 24. So I mean, I'm with Tyler. Like I think Swaggerty is in Major League camp competing for an outfield spot, especially if they don't bring in anybody.
Do you think there's any reason to play like the numbers game with him? I mean, I guess technically, like he could be like an April 20th, I guess per se. Like again, what's 20 games?
That's not even worth it.
No.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, because by the time you're playing the numbers game, he's going to be 30, right? I mean, he's going to be 24. You're already going to have him until 30, no matter what. So I think concern there.
I know you say that, Jim, but to me, if I'm the GM, I'm still doing it. I know it's you're saying it's 30-31, but let's also play. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm not doing it with him.
I still would.
Like,
because
what if he clearly demonstrates in spring training that he is your second best outfielder?
Well, he's only second best. Prove me you're my best.
Well, Brian Reynolds.
If you ain't
best.
First, you're last. Back to the minor leagues, boy. I don't know, because I know like we're just so in tune with the Pirates way and whatnot, but there is a realistic spot to that. And I know you're going to hate it, but you say like, okay, he'll be 30. What's 31? But you can also look at it as you're trading him at 29 with 2 years of control. Like that adds value if you can trade him at that point in time, if he is something. So, you know what I mean? Like, so instead of writing out his contract till 30, you can trade him at 29 and get something in return and keep going. I know you hate it, but I mean, that's realistic. As a GM, that's what you're going to think of. Long term, I mean, that's 2 more years that you have control, you know, at that point in time that you can trade him for.
I just don't know if they're looking at Travis Flaherty as a guy they're worried about with 6 years.
I'm not, but who knows what's going to happen? I mean, wouldn't you kick yourself in the ass if it is 4 years from now and he just turns out to be a good player?
No, we're already looking at a 40-man roster crunch. So we really need to bring in another guy that's going to fill a spot for 2 weeks and then just be kicked to the curb.
I don't think you really have to. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm there. Like, if you're just gonna put like another Dustin Fowler out there just so you can wait 2 weeks for Swaggerty, then like, what's the point? Because I said we are gonna have a crunch. So if you're going to roster somebody, like you got to make sure that those people are gonna stick around. Not like this past year where, you know, they just tried a bunch of people. You know.
That's a fair point. So I won't get too far because we really haven't gone into the 40-man. We haven't talked about it in depth, you know, what we think the 40-man could be next year. I mean, there is a crunch. So, you know, you do bring up a good point. Is it worth it in that sense? Are you going to risk losing somebody to gain an extra year of Swaggerty? That's a good point, and that's fair.
And I don't really know if anyone down there you would fill that spot with 2 weeks that's already on the 40 other than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we going to watch Kawhi Park? He's probably going to be DFA, but
fair.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm sure we'll have an episode where it's like, okay, what do we do with all these guys?
Yeah.
Because there are.
I know my answer for most.
There are a lot of decisions that need to be made, and it is going to be pretty. That's going to be one of the more interesting parts of this offseason. Is just who do they keep, who do they get rid of? Because I haven't even really fully gone into the list of players who they need to protect, but there's quite a few of them, and you got to make room for them somehow.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely.
I think right now they have. I think right now there are 40. There are either 47 or 48 people on the 40-man roster right now. So not only do you have to get the roster down, but you also have 48 people on the 40-man. So it's not even like they just need to create 6 or 7 spots. Like they need to create like 15 spots. Like they got a lot. They got a lot to do.
I don't even know how many guys are not on the 40-man that have to be put on it either.
Quite a bit.
Relatively.
Quite a bit. Yeah. Yep. And again, like that's the 40. If we're talking like you want to build and add free agents, you're heading into this year with not 40. Like you're protecting 37 or whatever it is, so you can fill in
it
those
really
spots.
shouldn't be that difficult. This is a bad team. They don't have many good players.
You bring up a good point. I know he got a lot of heat for saying what he said, but I mean, this is going to go to MLB executive burner, that account, whatever. I mean, he made a good point. It's funny watching bad teams talk about the 40-man roster crunch. And there's truth to it. I mean, you're a terrible team. Why are you worried about losing a lot of your players? I mean, I get the aspect of the prospect stuff, but right. I mean, this is a bad team. There's probably not 40 guys you need to really worry about because your team just ended with 61 wins. The issue for the Pirates is it's a lot of young guys, a lot of prospects coming up that you want to protect for the future. That's where their crunch really comes into play. So I get it. But all in all, like, are you really worried about losing some of those prospects that are there? We'll find out who gets selected or not.
It'll be a long episode.
Hopefully not like our last one, Tyler. What was that, an hour 50 that we went?
That was long.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be, it is quite a few people. I mean, if you look at the people, just quickly going through the system here, no catchers that are worth talking about, but Mason Martin is eligible. Diego Castillo is eligible. Peguero is eligible. Swaggerty, Smith and Jigba, Cal Mitchell. The recently acquired Sawinski is eligible. Lolo Sanchez is eligible. Pitchers, Oneil Cruz, Tanat Thomas, Cody Bolton, Travis McGregor, Santiago Flores, Eddie Yean. Yeah, those are the starters. And then there's some relievers that probably aren't worth it there, but yeah, that's a lot of people.
So let's talk. You mentioned that there's 48 on the 40-man right now. You also just named 14 players that are eligible for the 40-man roster. So 48 plus 14. Yeah, you're talking about a lot of cutdowns. That's even to just get to the 40-man. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of options on the plate right now.
Plus, if you want to sign any free agents this offseason, you need to have spots for them. Or if you want to pick somebody in the Roll 5 draft, you need a spot for them too. So,
plus keep all the 18 Roll 5 picks they had last year.
Well, they already gave up Tom, I think, right? And they already gave up. I forget the other one, but Oviedo's the only one left. Oh, Soriano and Oviedo. Yeah. But Soriano's somebody who is going to have to be on the roster next year. So Oviedo, they can just send him to the minors. But Soriano is still Rule 5. Like, he's still a Rule 5 player. He needs to get. He's
going to be like that Bird situation, that Birdie.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully, he doesn't go through it again next year and be like the 4-year Rule 5 guy.
Yeah, Birdie was like arbitration eligible and still a Rule 5 guy.
Right. I mean, he still is with the Padres. Like that's what's crazy. Yeah. Like he's with the Padres now, still in that set realm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Ethan says not an issue of who you lose. It's having enough players to make an opening day roster.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, because I mean you put a 40-man roster together.
Yeah.
26 of them have to be in the majors, right? So if you had 10 guys to the 40-man, you're not left with a whole lot of room there. Like so it's gonna be interesting. Because I'm anticipating some trades. Like if you're Ben Cherington, you basically have to figure out, okay, I've got all these borderline prospects, borderline decent prospects. Let's package a couple together and maybe do something with the major league roster,
To me, that's what makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Because you're just going to lose them. So instead of losing them, why don't you gain them? Gain something.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's got to be people out there who would, like every person who I just mentioned, like there are teams out there who would find room on their 40-man for those guys.
Mm-hmm. At what cost? We'll find out.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, that was the thing, though. We've talked about this for 2 years. Like, just that was the issue. All these trades he made, it was just like, well, damn. Like, what are we going to do with all these guys? They're all going to be 40-man eligible. Mm-hmm. So, and he just kept adding and kept adding. It's like, I don't care. This is what I'm going to do. So here we are now coming into the season with, I'm not going to call it mistakes. Yeah, it's just this is what he was dealt with. This is what he gave himself, and we're going to find out what he's going to do with it. To Ethan's point, not really a point, but Ethan's in the chat. So just to help Ethan gloat a little more, Chasen Shreve also on the 40-man next year because he will return and he's not a free agent. Tell him, Ethan. Does he have to return? He's eligible to return.
I can do without him.
I mean, he was your best lefty reliever. I mean, I guess if you can probably find somebody just like that, but yeah, it'll be. I mean, they have a lot of.
Lamar is your best option at quarterback, so it's not like you're saying much.
Yeah. Shreve won an MVP once. I must have missed that.
Jim gets so defensive. He gets so pissed. There he goes, sipping his tea.
It's weird. Running backs usually don't win the MVP anymore.
It's amazing when the first round.
Running backs leading the division in passing. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, everyone wants to be like Ronnie Brown now. So
I could probably hit some of the receivers he's thrown to.
I'm sure you could.
Ravens want to run that Wildcat all the time. Yeah. Bucko Mike brings up, of course, Bucko Mike, Brault, Will Crow, Cole Tucker, Cal Keller, Newman, De Los Santos, which, by the way, yeah, he's gone. Dill Pickles, Henry Davis, get out of here, Bucko Mike. Stallings, Moran, Hoy Park, Sean Howard, all cuttable. Bucko Mike, I love you.
Did he say Stallings?
He did say Stallings. He said Henry Davis. But no, I mean, so that's a good point. That's another thing we want to talk about. So that's a good transition here. Cole Tucker. Hate on him. He's not good. Prue's not good. He had a little stretch. We talked and said, beware. It's just a little stretch. Who cares? Then he has a grand slam. He just has like this amazing last few games. All right. So let's be realistic here. Cole Tucker. What do you do with him?
He sucks. Get rid of him.
You got Kevin Newman.
I think it comes down to you keep one of those two, and you pick one. Do you keep Cole Tucker or do you keep Kevin Newman?
Keep Kevin Newman. Get rid of Cole Tucker. I don't care if Cole Tucker had a little fancy day where he made a catch for his hat fell off and he hit a grand slam. Good for him. Happy for him. Seems like a great guy. He stinks.
But I think that's the move. I think you keep one of those guys.
I mean,
right now,
it's just terrible options.
Yeah, I mean, both options aren't great. I do think Newman, Newman just doesn't make sense to me. I think Newman can be like a better hitter, obviously, than he showed this last year. It was because it was just pathetic. Cole Tucker, though, also has he has at least some interesting qualities to him, but
His girlfriend
it just hasn't really translated. It hasn't translated past, high A ball. I mean, he has gotten a lot more selective. He is very he's you can tell he's super athletic, right? A super athletic individual.
Yeah.
Can play a few positions, so that's always maybe a thing that may push him over Newman. Is just Cole Tucker can play the outfield, not very well.
Can he?
He can technically do it.
I mean, if he can technically do it, you could technically put Kevin Newman out there as well, I feel.
I mean,
at this
Yoshi technically played the outfield.
At this point, I'm like flipping a coin. Like it doesn't matter. I don't think either way which one you keep, but I think you get rid of one of them.
Is it possible? I'm just throwing things out there right now because that's a good point. I mean, I don't see any reason to keep both. I don't see really a reason to keep Cole Tucker, but Kevin Newman's also one. It's like, do you really want to keep him or not? I mean, I just feel like we're not talking about much here, but I just feel like if you had to pick one, ultimately, okay, I'll get to that. I just feel like Cole Tucker has more of the youth and more of the unknown to him. So it's like maybe you still have that. Maybe they can do this and find something to click with him. Where Kevin Newman has been on the complete down, but he's done something before or it's been good. And at least he was a good defender this year. Like, I almost feel like if I'm going to choose one, I would probably choose Kevin Newman. But let me ask you this. Do you think there is any tradability to Kevin Newman?
I think there's tradability to either of them.
Absolutely no tradability to Kevin Newman.
Okay. So
maybe in 2010.
But he was still in college.
Now, whatever shortstops, just gloves.
Makes sense. I don't know. I would rather have neither. I would rather just both go away. And that's where but see, that's the whole thing is, this is where it's all tricky. Because with Oneil Cruz, if you do believe he's a shortstop, he's going to be here by like April 20th next year. And he just takes that position. Like, he should run with it. It's like, to me, there's really not a point of going out and upgrading the shortstop position this year, like with a free agent and such. So I don't know. Like, you're going to need something there. It can't just be Cruz. You can't count Cruz for 162. You have to have something there. But
not to mention,
I'm good to move on from both.
You're also going to be protecting Figueroa and Castillo.
Yes. Castillo's a good point. I could be good with both at some point. I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing here, but I in my mind, I don't want really either. Like, I'm good with moving on from Newman and Tucker, even though you probably need something there.
Yeah. Then who's your opening day shortstop?
And Marcano.
Oh, we forgot Marcano.
They're not doing anything to Marcano. Charrington's going to stick by that for a while.
No, I'm saying there's another potential shortstop option.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I think you keep one of the two.
Is it?
Because you need an opening day shortstop, right? And then, hey, you know what? 2 weeks into the season, if Cole Tucker or Kevin Newman is batting 160, and then you just DFA him.
So then, what's the point of keep? So to your degree, we talk about the Swaggerty thing. So what's the point of rostering them if you're just going to cut them at April 20th?
Because you still need somebody to play shortstop. Like, who
so,
else can play shortstop?
I'll be honest, I'd rather just put Castillo up there on opening day.
So put Castillo up there, and then when you just make the swap, put Cole Tucker up, or Cole Tucker, put Oneil Cruz up, and then bring him down for a few weeks and play the numbers game. Or he has that phantom. It's the All-Star break. He needs a break, and he catches his 10 days of non-serviceable time.
I might be on board with getting rid of both now.
I just don't find a reason to keep both.
I think once you get into that 40-man crunch, whenever we talk about it, we're going to probably see that there's no reason to keep both.
If you feel like Cruz is your shortstop and he can play shortstop, which they've given every indication that is what they believe, what is the point of rostering either of them for next year? Because Cruz will be playing shortstop.
Well, you still need like a backup plan.
Castillo, Marcano.
Hoyt Park.
Do you
If
really
that's who you
wanna
keep.
Hoyt Park
No,
might be. I'm probably keeping Tucker over Hoyt Park, honestly.
Okay.
Probably would as well. But like, and then you got Figueroa as well. At what point in the minor leagues we're not going to have room to play these shortstops?
Brian Hayes. Let's move on.
Love it.
I don't know. We'll get more in depth in that, I guess. But I guess that's where we're at. I mean, I am over Cole Tucker. I am not falling into this last few weeks, that catch. I mean, it's all incredible. This is why Cole Tucker is like lovable. He just is a great guy, it seems. Off the field, on the field, he's just like that dude that you probably would hang out with and whatever. You would like him. But he's just not a good baseball player. And that's what the Pirates need. They need good baseball players. And he isn't one. Sure, he has flashes where that's an incredible catch. But then he sucks. And you're wanting to get better. And he's just shown that he hasn't been good for a long time. Nothing in the upper minors. Nothing in the majors. I'm not going to get fooled by, well, there was this nice little couple of weeks where he did some really fun things. Let's find out next year. There's a crunch happening. Move on. You have plenty of shortstops in this organization right now. Move on.
And I'd be fine with that.
Just get rid of him.
Yes.
Just get rid of him.
All right. So Cole Tucker.
I will gladly eat crow if he leaves and does well. He will not.
I mean, what did Will do?
Will.
What did he do to deserve that, Tyler?
Now I get it.
All right. So, yes. So Tucker gone. What else do we want to talk about here? Arizona Fall League. We got a few minutes left before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So that was announced. We got some players going. They're going to lose money by the time they play. So that's going to be fun. But there's some players going. Let's talk about it. Any surprises?
I was happy to see Smith and Jigba go. I think that shows they're going to protect him. Which, I don't know why on Twitter I was seeing people talk about not protecting him and didn't understand it, but
there's
with you.
No reason why you would not protect him.
I know, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. No, I like the players going. It's a pretty much a combination of guys who either they want to pitch a little bit more because they missed some time this year, some hitters who also missed some time. G1 Bay is probably the intriguing one for me because I think we kind of forget about him, but like he's put together a pretty decent year at Altoona this year. Like he's always had the hit tool. His problem before was power, and like he actually found some power this past year.
I know he had the hit tool.
Right, he had the hit tool.
Yeah,
but he found the
Yeah.
power.
Well,
He found the power.
Yep. It was the domestic hit
He's
tool,
also he's intriguing because I think with his athleticism, like he doesn't necessarily have to be a shortstop or a second baseman. He could play center field probably too. Just play it perfectly fine. No, I think that's probably my most intriguing one. Like I'm more interested in Gonzalez and Contreras, those guys. But G1 Bay going and getting some additional playing time shows to me that, the Pirates want to see more of him.
Well, I mean, let's think. He was a big-time international prospect. Atlanta signed him. Then they couldn't. Pirates picked him up. Solid deal. He's intriguing. I don't know. Like I'm a little down on him. Nothing was like super high. And I think he's just like that slap hitter that singles out. He's got a ton of speed, that stuff. Now, he did show some power this year, but like to me too, I'm looking at the game log as well. Like he had that stretch, like he had this weird stretch where like he just hit like these home runs and then it just went away again. So I don't know how much I also even like truly believe in the power. It was there. I mean, he did hit 7 home runs, which I wouldn't have expected to see. Like he only hit 1 home run outside of this year in 2021, and then he hit 7 this year. So
no, he had 0 home runs going into this year.
Oh, you know what? You're right. My bad. That was also this year. Yeah. So he had 0. Then he had 8 this year. 1 was in outside of Double A.
1 was when he was on rehab assignment. Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So, and then he had 7 in Double A. But yeah, like the skill sets. I don't know how much are going to really translate. I think like he might be best suited, as you say, like this utility guy, and that's great. But yeah, like. So he's there. We get to see him in Arizona. Like I'm not down upon him. I'm not saying like Bay's terrible and this is a terrible thing. But to say he's lost in what we have, I think somewhat it's rightfully so. There's to me clearly guys better than him.
I would have preferred to keep Oneil Cruz in the country this offseason.
I don't even
Jim,
know how that works. Like visas,
I don't either.
Visas and all that. Like I think he actually has to go back home for a little bit and then like renew his visa. I think that's how it works.
I hope he can get a visa.
Well, he got one this year. So
just saying, we've seen this saga days before.
No, I think Cruz. I said Cruz will be playing in the Dominican Winter League, so that'll be interesting. I know he played in it last year for a little bit, but he was really young for that league, and that is a super competitive league. So I don't think he was necessarily ready for it. But it sounds like this year he's probably going to be like an everyday player in that league. Peguero also will be in the Dominican Winter League too. He was like the 6th overall pick in their draft that they had. Yeah, no, I'm fine with Cruz going back. I mean, we haven't heard anything about that case in 8 months now, 9 months. So who knows what's going on with that?
Right.
I mean,
but that's also a little bit worrisome.
They never, like, and last I heard, they never gave him a sobriety test. So it's like they don't really have any evidence that he was breaking any laws or anything. But so we'll see. I mean, I feel like we would have heard something by now.
I'm just saying, the inner how things work for the Pirates, right? It's inside of all of us, right? And again, the fact that we haven't heard anything is what worries me. I'd be perfectly okay if it just came out and said, yeah, we're done. This is nothing, no big deal. But I just have this gut feeling and I worry, he heads back into the Dominican. And it's like, gotcha, bitch. And now all hell breaks loose again, and it brings it back up. So that's my greatest fear in regards to this is the fact that it's been so quiet. We haven't heard anything.
The other part, though, about the Arizona Fall League, you notice that they send Contreras and you heard 2 guys with arm issues, not sending them to the Dominican where they probably will get their arms thrown off.
Yeah.
And you heard he's another interesting case because there's a lot of work to be done still.
Much more control over them.
The one good thing about the Arizona Fall League is the pitchers. I mean, you're only throwing an inning or 2, every time you go out there. I mean, they're 7 times. They're 42-man rosters in the Arizona Fall League, and you also see people sometimes getting swapped off and on. So, yeah, there's plenty of guys to pitch innings. So neither of them will have to, be put into a situation where, it'll be compromising to their arms.
And there's just a random Michael Burrows, whatever.
I mean, he earned it.
Yeah,
that's sure. An intriguing reliever arm. Let's put it that way. I mean, obviously he's not like a top talent, but that's an intriguing arm coming up right now.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the velocity gain this year, he pitched really well for Greece. But same thing, though, another guy who missed time. right? So another chance to get him some more innings. He and Majinski kind of fall on the same path when it comes to that. But I mean, with Michael Burrows, I mean, you got to love everything that you did see out of him this year when he was healthy. And he was actually, I think, the one guy when we had Tim Williams on, he was like the one guy outside of the top 20 or whatever to watch was Michael Burrows. And he pitched really well this year.
You're right. I forgot about that.
I did too,
Good
actually.
job, Tim. Great guest. We need to get him on here again soon. But
we do.
The other thing I look at, I mean, obviously some of them have made it, of course, but all these guys, I mean, we really potentially could see next year. Every single one of them. Like, they're all on that cusp. You know, I mean, Nick Gonzalez should be in AAA. You know, injuries held him back. So this is like his makeup time, as you're alluding to. All these guys, for the most part, have missed time. This is giving them some of the time back. But yeah, Nick Gonzalez could go to, I mean, is he AA next year? Are we assuming AA next year? Is he AAA next year? Just AA next year? Okay. So he's AA.
I mean, Gonzalez.
Just based upon what Sharrington's done, probably AA.
That's fair. And he might not even see AAA, or if he does, just here and there. But he could very well be a call-up next year. And like Majinski could see some time. Burrows, all these guys, I feel like, maybe except for Bay. All these guys could really see time next year. So that's intriguing. That's fun.
Majinski, probably not, like, unless they view him as a bullpen guy. But yeah, I mean, I think Michael Burrows is someone who could be like a lockdown reliever type guy. His stuff is really good. And he just doesn't really, I don't know how much he's developed a third pitch. So he's kind of really just cut perfect for that role. And that could kind of put him on the fast track.
I hate this man so much. Bucko Mike, Gonzalez to Venezuela. This is why nobody likes you, Bucko Mike. But okay, so yeah, that's
one thing that is kind of cool about the Arizona Fall League this year. That I mean, they just changed the rules in 2019 so that players like Rowan Z. Contreras and Miguel Yajure and G1 Bay can play in it, because before you were only allowed to send one international player. Now they removed those limits, so you can send more international guys now.
What's that noise?
I don't know.
What's that?
Tyler DiNardo being stupid.
I legit didn't hear you. Somehow or another, the AirPods disconnected. So,
well, that's probably what it was.
It's a wild play at the Seahawks Rams. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what happened?
The punter fumbled, and then he ran around for a while, and then he punted.
Oh, so it wasn't Cooper Kupp doing anything? Because I need Cooper Kupp to do some things.
He hasn't done anything.
Hopefully, a lot of things. I've lost back-to-back fantasy games by 1 point, and it's been terrible. It's awful. But anyways, I digress. Nobody cares about your fantasy team, right, Jim?
Right.
Okay. So what else do we have here? Anything else we want to talk about? Tie the show up with? Or do we want to leave on a high note?
Say we leave on a high note. We revisit the.
Let's do real quick. Who's going to win all the division series?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go Astros. I'm going to go Astros and Rays because they're going to be up 1-0. And then, Brewers and Dodgers.
Sounds great to me. Because truthfully, I did not know.
I can't disagree with any of those. Just deep down, I want White Sox over Astros. But now they're down 0-1, so it's going to be tougher. So, deep down again, all those teams you picked, except instead of Astros, White Sox. But go Rays, because I know Tyler's going to hate the Rays this year. So I'm all in on the Rays just for Tyler's misery.
That's true. I'm actually, because Tyler is rooting against the Rays, I want the Rays to win the World Series.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweep in.
I am a huge Rays fan for the next month.
Same.
Oh my God. Just like every other Pirates fan that has the Rays as their second team.
I mean, that could be true, but that's not why for us. That's not my second team. It's just, it's Tyler's hated team. So therefore, it is now my favorite team.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that means it's time to get out of here then. So with that said, we'll be back next week. So I guess we'll see you then. So bye.
Understands.
Later, guys.